I'm next weather meteorologist Shane Hinton providing a tropical update for you. The Monday late morning update from the National Hurricane Center has officially shown that Tropical Storm Erin has developed just west of the Cabo Verde Islands, so well out in the Atlantic here. But the reason why we want to stay on top of this is the forecast models show this continuing to travel west throughout the Atlantic. So as of the 11 a.m. update, sustained winds of 45 miles per hour as it continues to push west at 20 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the first cone from the National Hurricane Center. You can see that it is expected to become the first hurricane in the Atlantic of this season by Thursday. Now, this current forecast shows it possibly becoming a major hurricane by Saturday of this weekend. Now, to give you some perspective of how far this would be from the U.S. based on where the cone ends, you can see quite some distance that it's got left before it would actually make it to the U.S. if it in fact gets there. And the reason I have to highlight that is there has been a lot of hype on social media I've seen about this particular system. Now that we have a well-defined center with Erin, we'll be able to get a better idea of where it could go over the next several days. Now, 5 to 7 days is a reasonable forecast, but everything outside of that is very much an educated guess because we have a lot of factors that go into not only the steering, but also the strengthening of tropical systems. So what I'm showing you right now is our tropics tracker. So the areas in green and blue indicating the tropical moisture from Erin. And then the areas you're seeing shaded in red, that's going to be wind shear. Now, wind shear helps to shred tropical systems apart, and it keeps them from strengthening. As you can see, by Thursday of this week, that's when the forecast cone had predicted that it could become at least a Category 1 hurricane. You can see that wind shear still to the north and south of the system, but as we make our way toward the weekend, that moisture is definitely able to overcome the shear based off of this particular forecast model. Now, it's from Sunday into Monday of next week where there is a lot of uncertainty. Some models have the system making a pivot to the northwest and north, and some have it going a little bit further to the south. Now, it is worth mentioning that a majority of the models do have that pivot to the north and northwest. Let me give you a look here. What we're taking a look at right now, here's Florida, here's the U.S., and what I'm giving you a look at on the map are the spaghetti forecast models, or so the spaghetti plots, if you will. These are numerous forecast models, and what we do is we look at the trends of them. Now, this system up here, that's another area that we're monitoring in the tropics that's not expected to impact the U.S. It's this cluster of models that are associated with Tropical Storm Erin. Now, the tighter the lines and the more in unison they are, that means the higher confidence that they're all kind of on the same thinking here. Now, where the uncertainty starts to appear is toward the end of the forecast models. You can see some keep it a little bit further to the south, pushing out to the west, but a majority of this cluster does have that northwest to north pivot, and that is good news for us here in South Florida. But like I said, a lot of time for things to change, so we're going to have to monitor it very closely over the coming days. There are two other areas that we are monitoring in the tropics. They both have only a 10% chance of tropical development over the next several days. They're just off the east and northeast coast of the U.S., one of which is just east of Bermuda. We are not expecting impacts from these systems, but we will also continue to monitor those for you as well. Now, in the month of August, things historically start heating up for us as we lead up to the peak of hurricane season in September. Everywhere you see a red dot on the screen right there, that is indicating where historically a storm has formed in the past. Now, the patches that you see, the shaded regions, those are indicating kind of like the hot spots where it's most favorable. Now, you do see it in the MDR, where the main development region of the Atlantic, and then you also see it's very popular just on the east coast in the southeast U.S. during the month of August. Now that we have officially marked E off the list with Tropical Storm Erin, if another area were to develop, we would move to the F name, which is Fernan. We will continue to provide updates from the National Hurricane Center and track the tropics for you here in the next Weather Sphere. We'll provide updates on air, online, and through our CBS News app.